Familiarization course, which is of course designed to get everybody accustomed to the UO way of using the Arma. I would like to introduce my staff today. Myself is Kirby, and over here I have Static. Yeah. And over here where I'm standing, I have Fluffer. He is looking in on the course, but of course I'm thinking he's willing to answer questions if they will arise. In the back, I also have Static and Fighter, correct?
Fighter's over
Dark
here.
side.
Oh, Dark Side, sorry, yeah.
Fighter's waving hi.
Okay, and these will all be here to answer your questions and help me out with the course. I'm expecting it to be around about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, so it won't be that long a course, but I'll advise you to listen in and keep a good eye on it, so we get it all straightened out. Okay. The topics we're going to be talking about today is the UO code and the charters that we're all working by. We're going to circulate the subject of ACE and Acre. Of course, the system we have built in, ACE, which gives us a lot of opportunities to interact and do certain stuff, and Acre, our radio program. Am I too low at this moment with my voice?
I got you 5x5.
Okay, that's good. After the ACE and Acre, we're going into some more details about fireteam ops, the build-up of a fireteam and a squad, and formations and bouting methods. At the end, we're just going to go in on a little bit about ACE Medical, not the specific stuffs of how to treat a severely injured person, but more like the outlines of how to approach an injured person, so we all get that in as well. And of course, the goal of all this is to standardize the gameplay on the main server, so that we all know what we're all talking about, and we'll all get a good experience doing it. So I hope you'll listen in and don't sit on RedTube all the time, so you can get your tags. Okay. If you can please move on to the first slide. Yes. If you're having trouble reading it, you can come closer. I know that some angles might be more difficult to see.
Might be able to hold down right click as well.
Yeah, hold your right mouse button down and you can zoom in.
Okay.
Try that first.
Otherwise, I'll read up. United Operations is a community of mature, like-minded individuals whose common basis of gameplay is centered around armed assault. So basically what this says is that we're all the same in the sense of armed assault, and we're all here to do a quote marks job, play Arma, and have some fun with each other. Section 1.1. We believe that the virtues of friendship, fun, professionalism, respect, cooperation, teamwork, and courtesy are more important than power. This means that if everything goes up into a higher unit, we will all have a great time, and no one is superior in any way. Of course, we have a ranking system inside the UO. Not to say that someone is a captain in that certain sense of form for a ranking system, but we have some different positions who can do different jobs. Aesthetic?
Oh, I was just talking about your hunchback.
Oh. I just got track error yesterday.
Oh my god.
Okay. Section 1.4, I'm going to read that up as well. Gaming involving tactical play and simulation is the most fulfilling, although we welcome diversity and moderation. This means that, of course, we would like to see a mission through on the primary server as a tactical solution based on the things we have learned on the UOTC courses and, of course, personal experiences. And we welcome diversity means that options other than the normal ones are, of course, being listened to and taken into consideration. So all of this, all in all, means that we're here to have a good time and also have the best time. I'm just going to see if I can lose the tracker. I'm getting nuts at this as well. Did I lose the hunchback?
Yeah, there you go.
Ah, that's good.
I was laughing too hard.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, are you good with the slide?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, just before I proceed with talking about the Ace and Echo, I was talking about the Code Mox chains of command. We have, of course, we have the UO guests, which is probably most of you who are just coming here to play on the server. Then we also have some UO members who are senior members of the guest role who has been here for a while and participated in a lot of stuff. Then we have the regulars, which is myself and most of them who are here right now, who are people being voted in by other regulars for their, how can I say, their involvement in the community and the gameplay.
Dedication.
Dedication, yeah, exactly. And then we also have a lot of the positions. The one you'll primarily meet on the server would probably be the GM, the game moderator, who has the powers to moderate the game while in game. They're also commonly, when on and not too tired, of course, taking over the admin pool of the server. There's a few others like forum moderators and mission moderators who handle the different sections of the UO so that it can all work smoothly as we know it on a day-to-day basis. Mission makers, yeah, sorry, not mission moderators.
Yeah,
okay.
If I could just add something.
Yep.
You can tell if someone's a GM or any kind of officer or delegate by looking in TeamSpeak. They'll have the tags according to their job. So yeah, just a way to tell who is who.
Such as myself and Static are GMs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay then, moving on to the Acre part. Is there anybody here who hasn't used the Acre radios for a minimum of the 343 personnel radio?
This is Ryan, I have it.
Okay, sounds good, we're gonna go through it. You should all be equipped with a Acre 343 radio right now. So if everybody goes ahead and presses Control, Shift, and X, a radio should appear on your screen. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, this sounds good. This is the lowest, I'll say the second lowest means of communication inside a squad, where the first one, of course, being direct speech. The 343 personnel row radio is a short-range radio that we can use to talk inside the squad for basic messages, for example, from fire team to fire team or from fire team lead to squad lead. For example, a contact report or any other means of important messages going up the chain of command. The options we have on this radio, we have two knobs in the top of the radio. One where it says 1.3, and then another one where you can see right now it says .9. The first one with the big numbers on it where it says 1 is the channel switcher. If you press left mouse button, it will go up. And channels on this, we have a total of 16 we can utilize. Before every game inside missions, we will be assigned for each squad we have for the channel we've been using. Make sure to keep an eye on this so the squad leader's work is easier when in-game, so keep an eye on what channels you're going to be on. The next knob is the volume button. Left makes it go up in volume, and you will start at the highest volume when you receive it. And the right mouse button will take it down.
Shit, sorry.
That's okay. And the way we use every radio, I'm just going to do it with the 343 here, is of course using the default key, caps lock. Of course it can be changed to anything else you want, but the default is caps lock. So if everybody's on channel 1, I'll just try and talk and you'll see if you can hear me. This is Kirby. Is there anybody who doesn't hear me?
Yep.
Sounds good. And can anybody tell me what was wrong with that message I just sent?
Was it a whisper?
Radio.
How are they gonna answer you?
Yep, somebody said radio protocol. Exactly.
Yep.
How is the correct way to start or initiate a conversation on a radio?
You start with the person's who you're trying to talk to's call sign, then yourself and your message.
Exactly. An easy way to say it, you there, this is me. So for example, if I am 2 and you are 1, then 1 this is 2, and then you send your message. And you end every transmission with over, of course. So 1 this is 2, over. Okay. Is this new stuff to everybody, or is it quite okay to understand? Sounds good. I didn't think so.
This is Ryan. I've actually got Acre has experienced a pipe error, so I don't know if mine's functioning properly.
Restart your TeamSpeak.
Roger.
Restart.
Yeah, make sure it's an admin.
Yeah, restart your TeamSpeak.
Admin?
Right click and run as admin.
Okay, sorry guys, thanks.
Okay, I just got a message as well, but I'll keep on going. Okay, we've gone over the basics of the 343, and I'll take the other radios right now. I was just getting the procedures and the basic talk down with the radios. Everything else is the same when we keep on going. Okay. The next common radio we're using is for a squad lead or a platoon lead. The Acre and PO. Second?
Ryan disconnected and he's not back yet. There he is.
Okay. He'll probably join in again. The radio on the right, the PRC 148, is a radio used to intermediate for a squad lead and a platoon lead. It can be used for other things, but it's optimal for this account, given the range and the versatility of the frequencies used on it. The operations of it is the same as the 343. In the same line, we also have the PRC 152. We're not using this at the moment in any missions as far as I can recall, but it basically has the same functions as the 148, and they're both radios in real life, of course, but the preferred radio for mission makers is the 148. It's easy to handle, and it's easy for the menus and to set it up. Okay, going on to the long-range radios in the bigger size. Over to the left, under the 343, we have the PRC 117F and the PRC 119. These two can be used to speak on a long range. It sends out with 20,000 megahertz and gives quite a fair range. All the radios have in common that they can be interfered by certain terrain features like hills and mountains. If, for example, two 148s are on each side of a mountain, they might not be able to reach each other. So please be advised when using radios that if you can't hear anybody, it's probably not just because they're out taking a dump. It might just be because the terrain features don't allow it. Okay. Is there any questions so far? Just raise your hand using the Shift 5 and let us know if there's anything. Okay, that sounds good. Oh, I forgot the push to talk as well. I'm sorry. But it might not be any news that there's a push to talk button like the I'm using right now. TeamSpeak to talk. So I'm hoping nobody missed that part, as I just missed it myself.
Sure.
You said something?
Someone on global being moved.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, we'll be going over the basic features of it right now. So the first thing I want people to do is go into the radio crate and grab a 148 and then assemble out here again.
Ryan.
Somebody talking to me?
No, never mind.
Did I miss anything critical?
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay. Now they're probably coming back with Moses and everything.
Everybody.
Is everybody here again? Yep. Question? Blue water?
Hold on, dude.
Okay.
You have one more straggler.
Okay.
I think it's Ryan.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Beautiful struggle.
All are sitting down. It looks so good.
Best class 2013.
JB has connected. JB has joined the channel.
Here he comes. 148, and I'm going to show you how to use that in conjunction with the 343 that may be assigned as well. There's some few features that can be used to differentiate the radios, and we're going to teach that here. Okay. Now off, you have another function. You have two radios now, so it's probably going to be a little more difficult to handle them. But I'm going to show you how to handle them properly. Right now, you can press the Control, Shift, and S. This should give an indicator down to the bottom right, where you can see which radio has been chosen right now. I want you to choose the ANPRC 148 VHF. When you're all selected on that, go ahead and press Control Shift X to bring up the radio. Now everybody should have a black box in the middle, and should be ready to receive instructions. Okay. This radio has 100 preset channels. You can scroll through them by using the two arrows going up and down. So if you try and press the one going down, you'll start from 100 and down on. And if you press up, you'll of course go up. We're going to be working on channel 1 right now. Channel 2, and we're going to see how this works out. Okay. We have some different features on each channel we can use. If everybody goes ahead and press the mode button, you will come into a menu where it says 00002CH. This of course means 2 channel, and then underneath a frequency. If you go ahead and press the mode button again, you'll receive a screen where it says cur 100 and new 100. This means the current output of the radio is 100, and the new is the new preset we're going to make. So if everybody goes ahead and presses the up button, you should see the first being 500, and then 1000, 1300, 1600, 2000, 2500, and so up. The highest number on this radio is 5000. And to give that an aspect for the other radios, I set, for example, the 117F, which goes up to 20,000. So this have 1/4 of the output. When you have chosen the output you want to, you go ahead and press enter, and then you come back to the first screen where it says volume and the frequency and the channel number. Can anybody tell me what the idea is, for example, for being able to change the output of the radio?
So you can hear someone from a further distance.
Yep,
Because you
exactly.
send.
Exactly, you can use it to talk to people who are further away, and even listen in on people further away. Is it a good idea just to put it to 5000 every time?
Yes.
No.
Okay, no? Can
No.
you give a description?
In case, you share comms with somebody else, you kind of want to keep it narrowed down.
Yeah, exactly. You can use it also to screen off other comms from a distance. So for example, if I don't want to listen to them who are I can reach at 5000, I will probably just set it to 25 or 3000, so their comms won't go onto mine. It's fairly uncommon that that 2 different squads use the same radio channel, but it can be done. So just take this into consideration when using the output. Okay.
Do you have a question back there?
Yeah, I might be jumping ahead a bit here, but if you're on a TVT, is there any time, like a situation where you could clash onto the opponent's radio, channel, or is that just not, that didn't happen?
Okay, yeah, we can do that. in a TVT, mission makers normally do that they set preset channels. So that means that channel 1 on the up 4 and blue 4 might be different. But this will be in the description when in the map screen of the mission. If it doesn't say anything but it gives you different channels, yes, you will be able to listen in. And on the further note, yes, you can pick up enemy radios and listen in on the channel that you've been given. For example, if it is the preset channels and you pick up a dead enemy's radio, you can listen in on their frequencies. Did that answer it?
Yeah.
Is it possible to use your radio and just cycle through the frequencies until you pick up theirs, or is it set so you have to actually physically grab one of their radios off a body?
In theory, your solution might work, but if preset, it might be a good idea to have preset it to different channels, frequencies, further away from the ones that are being used right now. But in theory, yes, it could be done.
Yeah, technically, it all depends on the mission. The mission maker can put in to where neither side can listen to each other's comms at all. They could set it to where you have to pick your own frequency or whatnot. It just depends on the mission.
Okay, did I answer it?
Yep.
Good thing. Okay, now we have 2 radios, and when speaking in these radios, you can receive comms from your squad and from your platoon, and this might come in as just one big thing on your headset or speakers. But we have a way to counter this. The radio you have selected on the Control Shift S, for example, if we start with the 343, I personally like to assign this to my left ear because this is what I have in real life as well, and I do that by holding down the Control Shift and then using the left arrow key on the keyboard. A little hint will pop up: radio set to left, and then it. Yeah, I know some rookie left it out for the RTO course, but I think it's still a good idea to familiarize with it.
Wait, sure. What? He left the one with Sun Foxtrot for an RTO course?
Yeah, I think so.
This is 117.
What is some F?
Yeah. We're all getting 10 now.
ET phone
You
home?
can teach him how to unload a weapon.
This looks kind of fun.
That's with base.
Antenna farm.
Yes.
I'm not in ace yet. Fuck's sake.
Okay, is everybody back?
Nope.
Nope.
There's one guy.
I'll
go take a look.
Ryan, did you get a 117? Ryan.
I think so.
No, you didn't.
No,
Come here.
no, he doesn't.
Come with me. Ryan.
Oh, obviously I don't.
Ryan, come back with me to crate.
You want me to just join another time, guys? I don't know.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Yep,
Two, exactly.
we're all here to learn, so
Time
this is
for
what
a
it's all
question.
about. Yep, fair enough.
So one of the biggest distractions that I've found when I'm on the primary server is that lady who tells me that somebody joined. And
Yeah.
somebody-
Just turn it off.
Can I get rid of that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
in
make it
the,
a male voice.
Yeah.
That's all
help.
better.
Whatever
I
floats your
just
boat.
turned off all team speakers and voices.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
help you how to turn it off.
Video.
What's your name?
Sir Bones.
Sir Don's great.
Any other questions while we're waiting for Ryan to get his radio? That's good. Questions are good. No stupid questions here. Oh, what I was meant to say that there is no stupid questions here. Alright. Seems like he's
Actually,
sedate.
still bones. I'll
Radio's
just tell you after the
confusing.
course.
Alright, I got
Okay,
him.
thanks.
So many buttons.
He's good.
There we go. Good job. And of course, I am an idiot right now because I
Here,
didn't pick
I'll
it up.
give you mine.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
many buttons.
There we go. Okay, I would like everybody to cycle the radios with the Control Shift S and find the PRC117F. And as the other actions for the radios, you bring it up by Control Shift X. Now you should have a great green blob on your screen. Is there anybody who doesn't have that? I didn't think so. Good. Okay, the basic functions is quite the same as the 148, it's just another way of doing it. Of course, we have the volume button out to the left of the small square that is the command unit. You can turn down the volume and you can turn it up again. On the right side we have a function that is called pre and the plus and a minus. From here on, that's the same as the arrows on the 148. You cycle through the preset channels and select the one you want. For this one, we're going to channel 2. So when on channel 2, it should say 002.037.775. This is of course channel 002 and of course the frequency set. Now I would like to change my output setting. I do this by pressing the 8 where it says PGM at the bottom. Now I come into a menu where it says select net and I want to select this net. I then go ahead and press enter because I select this net. Now I come up to a screen where it says freak, CS, data, SQL, power and name. The way we want to change the output setting is using the left and right arrows on top of the pre button. Go ahead and hit either the left or the right arrow until you reach to the power where it blinks on power. When you've done that, press enter. As you can see here, we have the same interface as we have on the 148 where it says current and new. This one starts at 5000 as a standard, and 5000 was of course the longest output we could reach on the 148. From here on is the same settings with the left and the right mouse. You can change it all the way up to 20,000. This will give the maximum range on the radio. And how was it with the output settings? What was it we could use these for? Just to refresh it.
Distance.
Yeah, exactly. Either to reach a distance or to cut off a distance, as we talked about before. It was just to see if everybody was still there. Okay. So if everybody goes ahead and just select the 20,000, either by using the up or the down, left or right. When the 20,000 is blinking, you can press enter and you will be returned to the front screen where it says 002 and the frequency. Now your radio is preset to 20,000 in output. Now we're ready to talk on a long range over a longer distance. This is basically the functions of the 117F. The difference between that and the 148 is of course just only the distance. Does any of the other instructors have anything to say about that?
Well, the 117 Foxtrot is mainly used for a platoon/company-sized radio, such as the RTO, the radio telephone operator, or sometimes a platoon leader, maybe a JTAC, some kind of asset. Like Kirby said, it's the longest range radio that we have, besides the radio rack. I think that might be the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, We'll see on that.
Yep, thank you for that. Of course, the functions using it as told by static. The RTOs and higher means usable, like JTAG talking to airplanes, he might not be able to reach them over longer distances when they're off the map. So this is a very good radio for this. And it has the same interferences as the other radios with, for example, mountains and hills in the terrain. Buildings also. So be aware of this when you're screaming inside the radio and you can't get a hold of anybody, and you're sitting in a cave somewhere. So just take that into consideration. Okay. Anything else to add on the acre spectrum? Any questions? Yep.
The power setting, we set that only for channel 2, right? So if I were to switch over to 1 or 3, I'd have to redo the power?
Yes, good point. Exactly. It's only for the channel you're assigning it to right now, so it won't be global on all channels. So for example, if you're an RTO or radio telephone operator who has to switch between channels sometimes, be advised that you're not set to 5,000 on one and 20,000 on the other, and the first one you're screaming into. Yep, entry.
Is that the same
Or
on the
elite?
148?
Yeah, sorry, exactly the same.
Okay.
Yep.
And then this also adds the opportunity to change the frequencies on each preset channel. Does that mean that I can listen or set the frequency to whatever the 148 is using for a preset and listen to what they're talking? Or is it only 117s talk to 117s and
Nope,
148s?
it goes in on each other.
Okay.
So you can easily be able to listen in on the 148 with the 1117.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The little
Yep, in the back.
I was just messing with the radio, and when you click PGM, is there a way to go back? Cause
Click enter twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 3 times.
Raz, do you have a question?
Alright.
Yeah, the little on side there that you can turn. What's that?
What's your question?
The little knob on the side you can turn around.
The one that says PT, CT, TD?
Yes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need
As far
to
as I
mess
know,
with
that's
that.
not functional, so it's just gonna stay on plain text.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's no purple.
And make
CLR
it face
gives
when you
a
go
better
to clear
picture,
though.
Oh,
It-
CLR.
It's a function used in real life to switch between different, because it's an encrypted radio. So PT is the one we want to use here. Plain text, and of course CT is encrypted text, but we don't use that here. Okay. Anybody have a question acre related? Yep, in the back.
Yes, vehicle racks and radios.
Vehicle racks, yes. Okay, just to go over them quick, I'm going to show you here how to do it. The difference between bringing it up like now for Shift Control X while we bring it up, the only difference is we use Shift Alt Q. This will bring up a radio menu like on the middle of the screen where you can select the radio you're about to use. It's normally, is it VR107? I think it says on it. Then you press on that and the radio should appear. It says PRC117, and then you just press use radio. And that's basically the only difference there is from bringing it up as you have it now and in the radio racks. It's fairly easy to use. It will guide you through the radio all the time. When you have selected the radio in the car, you bring it up normally like you do right now. So for example, if you've enabled the radio inside the vehicle, you just use the basic functions to get it up on the screen, and you can use it there. Did that make any sense to everybody? Or do they need to be told again?
They're usually used for strikers or like tanks.
Yeah, they're usually preset with the radio racks. Okay. Any other last questions for acre related? Sounds good. Let's proceed to the next slide. Okay. this was of course my fault. I should have showed you this in the beginning. We're going to go over the ACE system, the Advanced Combat Environment, that brings us the further immersion of the game and further opportunities to utilize the game's the features inside a game. The first point, of course, I should have told you, that was probably my mistake, the weapon safety. Make sure that every time you go into a game, you have your weapons safetied. The way you do that is Shift tilde, and if nobody knows what that is, the Shift button, of course, and the button between left of the 1 on the keyboard. It has on mine, it has some paragraph numbers and the half numbers on it. It might be different for different nations, I'm not sure about that. But these two combined safeties your weapon. It should give a little click, and then it says safe up in the right corner. So nobody who hasn't got that or hasn't used it yet. Okay, that's good. The way to unsave it is the same Shift and then 1. Then you'll return to your normal weapon status. But make sure to keep it on safety and lowered when in game. Team killings and NDs are not that frowned upon. Of course, accidents can happen, but please try to remember yourself to minimize these mistakes. Because if somebody dies inside a mission, he's out for that mission. So that's not very fun to spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes on a briefing, and then as soon as we come in, he dies. Another way to double check and secure you've done this is simply by pressing enter, and this brings you up to the multiplayer screen where it says restart and respawn, and this can also prevent this. The trigger for what I'm talking about right now is the Alt-Tab function when you want to get out of the game. When you use that to get out of the game and you've forgotten to safety your weapon or press escape, when coming into the game again, it will fire a shot or a burst from the light machine guns. And this, of course, is not very good, because people might, for example, when we start a mission, people are bunched up in the squads, and you fire a 10-round burst from a light machine gun, and in worst case, 1 or more people will die and lose the mission for their part. So we're trying to keep this down, and make sure you think about this when you enter a mission or want to tap out of a mission, because you have something to do on the desktop. Yes, and as Fighter says, you will be kicked or banned, and of course none of us will want to sit out a day with Arma, so make sure this doesn't happen to you. Okay, any questions on weapon safety? Good. Now we're going to talk about the ACE functions we can use. We have, as we can see, the self-interact button. The self-interact button is the one of, if you have the right control button, the one left of that, it is on my keyboard for example, it's where you can see it's the scroll down menu button. If you press that, you should get a menu that says main menu in the top. Is there anybody who doesn't have that?
This is Ryan. I don't have that.
You don't have that?
Can
Okay.
you say that again?
No, I think it's because he's alone in his squad right now.
Oh, there should be should not be an issue with the self-interact button, because that's your own functions. Is there any of my instructors who can just take him aside and show him how to do it?
What was the key again?
If you take the right control button, is the one to the left of that. It has the symbol of a scroll down menu.
Oh yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Alright, where's Ryan? Ryan, come with me, please.
Okay, we're just gonna get Ryan up to speed with the buttons, and then we can follow him up. They shouldn't intervene with us. Okay, the functions we have on the Safe Interact button is the own interactions of yourself. Everybody should have the notepad, which can be used to write down or set up some reminders or calculate. This can be useful for remembering things in-game and also letting other people pick up your notepad and see what you have written, for example, if you die. The Google's mask functions is where we have all the things we can equip ourselves, like earplugs, gas masks, goggles, and everything that can be used to equip to help yourself. Earplugs is always a good idea to have in. So remember, it doesn't intervene with your normal listening volume. It only it's only set to work on like machine guns, for example. If you fire long bursts at a long time, you will become deaf and you can't hear anything. So it's a good idea to put the earplugs in. The magazines tab you can put in. You can either unload your weapon or repack the different magazines you have. Unload weapon can also be a good feature if you're having serious problems with the ace safety, and you always keep forgetting. Then an idea could be to unload weapon to prevent this. But I don't hope that anybody's that far out. In the button we have the the tab of treat wounds. This is to treat our own wounds, not someone else's. That we will be doing in another function. Okay, if you for example have been shot and you on yourself carry bandages and it's allowed to use morphine and epinephrine, you can use this function to treat yourself, applying bandages and using morphine. This might not be available in all missions, but it usually is available in the form you can use bandages. Epinephrine and morphine can be used only by medics in some missions. That's a preset channel from the mission makers. Okay, any questions on the self-interact button and the functions of it? Good. The next we have is the global interact, or as said on the screen, other interact. This basically means you can interact with other things. That is the right Windows tab, just left of the one you've just used right now. Yep. You will need something to interact with, so when you're pressing it just down in the air, nothing will happen. So if you, for example, go up 2 and 2, and you interact with each other, or just find a person next to you. Yeah. It will be bringing up a menu called main menu as well, but you'll have some other functions on it as we and the self-interact. Was there a question in the back?
Oh no.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yep. The functions we can do here is all the functions that lets us interact with the different objects we want to do. For example, now I'm on Fluffer right here. I have the functions to copy his notepad if he has written down things. I can go into his gear or his rucksack that he's wearing, and then the last one I can do for him is the examine function. This is the first aid function of the other interact. This allows me to see what's wrong with him. If I press interact him in right now, it says you examine Fluffer and he appears fine. If he's wounded, it will give me the option to treat him in the way that it says on the top. It could be that he has heavy bleeding and he's in very much pain. This has some rockets in his backpack. You want to get a hold of them, you can access his backpack by using the rucksack function and grab the rockets from him. This is not a clear pass just to grab everything that is in everybody's rucksacks. They might need him for the mission. But for example, if you're an AT helper and AT assistant, sorry, and the AT gunner needs his grenades, he can do it in this function without having to drop it on the ground. Okay, any questions on the other interact button? Sounds good. Okay, moving on to the Shack Tech HUD. In the bottom middle of your screen, you have a round circle divided into to 3 different colors: a light and a medium dark and a more dark function. And in that you should see the different people moving around. And on the right side, you should see the names of the people in your squad. Is there anybody here who doesn't have that function? That makes it easy. Okay. In the outer ring, you see the cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. This is to quickly identify, for example, possible contacts, or directions whether we need to move when moving out in a squad or a fire team. So this is a quick view of the compass cardinal directions. The circles inside the shack tech hut also indicates a meter distance. So if you can't see the board up here, I'll read it up. The first ring that you meet from the center and outwards indicates a 15-meter line. So if you have a person on the line right now, he's 15 meters away from you. The second line, that is the not so dark line, indicates a 30-meter distance. So this means that if there's someone in that peripheral, you have a 30-meter distance to the persons. And the outer line has a 45-meter distance. This can be determined to separate the fire teams in different distances. For example, that the squad leader says that he wants you to move 20 meters to the right. You can use this to a fair degree of accuracy move out to the distance you want to do. Also to use it to when you're walking in formations, we can see what the spacings are. Also, at the names of the right of the actual HUD, you have the people names. These also indicate what kind of functions they have. Let me see. Yep, the squad leader has a slash in the middle, a 45-degree slash into it. Also the team leader. If there's an up arrow that goes up, you are the AR, automatic rifleman. If you're the AT, it has a chevron, what's that translated into English as chevron? An arrow going up. Yeah. And the rifleman, the medic is equipped with a cross all the way across his body on the HUD. The rifleman is just a normal no markings circle, so it's empty. Yeah, of course, as a fighter says here, that it depends on the mission maker. He might make everybody a rifleman. So if he does that, that will appear on the shack tech HUD that everybody's a rifleman. Might be used, for example, custom gear scripts and all these functions we can utilize as a mission maker. This is just to give you a heads up that it could look like this with the different markings on it. Okay. Any questions for the shack tech HUD? Okay. In accordance to this as well, we have a way to utilize our speech. Should probably announce this at the radios, but I'm going to do it right now with the shack tech. If you use the what is it called? The tab button on top of the caps lock, it should have been set to direct speech inside the Arma. If you haven't done that, you won't be receiving it. But if you press it and you have set it up, it should say in the left side whisper, and in the middle normal, and in the right shout. Is there anybody who doesn't have this function?
This is Ryan, I don't have it. Okay.
The way this is done is going into your options of the Arma and controls. Then you find the tab inside the all controls where it says talk on direct channel. This you would want to assign to the tab, or the one you would choose to. I have it on tab because it's closest to the radios. Then when in game and you use this, you can use the scroll wheel while pressing this down to determine your strength of your speech. Right now I've turned mine up in between middle and shout, so that I'm making sure that everybody can listen to me. Also, it can be set to whisper, for example in a TVT match, or when AI talk is enabled on missions, so that people won't be alerted of our talk. It can be heard by others. If anybody has a problem setting this up, we will be doing this afterwards, so everybody is totally in sync with the different visualization. Fighter? He's gone.
Yeah, there is a visual.
Yeah.
If you hold it down, yeah, there's a bar. It says whisper on the left side. or wispy, I don't know, they cut it off, and shout on the right side, normal in the middle, you use your scroll wheel to change back and forth.
Yeah, I don't get one. I'll play with it later.
Yep, for everybody having problems with this, hang around after the course and we will get you all set up on this function. It's not that important right now, so we will do it afterwards. Okay. Any questions on the ShackTech HUD? Good. We will move on.
Right.
Oh. Yep.
Sorry, real quick. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but like you said, to safety your weapon is shift plus tilde, and to unsafety it is just shift 1.
Yeah, he already
right
did
next
that.
to- Okay, he did? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear.
Yep.
That's okay.
Cool.
Wait, actually, I have a question.
Yep.
When you have it on whisper and everything, do you know the ranges that people can hear you from? Like, on whisper, like someone can hear you, I think, from like 2 meters away.
The actual meters I'm not quite sure of, but yeah. Does anybody know this?
I don't.
Well, rough estimate, whispers around 5 to 1 meter. It'll be within that distance, depending on what the audio is around you. Normal is about 150 meters, being 150, barely being able to hear someone, and then shouts up to like 200 or 250, I believe.
Okay.
It could be something on there, maybe.
Yeah. The shout is a very large function to use. You can be heard a very long distance away. So, for example, in CVT, it might not be that good when you have to sneak up on the enemy and you're shouting to everybody. So, a whisper or a between middle and whisper might be a good option for this. Okay, moving on. Yes, from here on, we're moving over to the fire team build-up and the squad build-up. Just wait 2 seconds, I need to scroll down on my lesson plan. There we go. Okay, this is a normal squad setup. As you can see in the middle, there's a squad leader. He controls the 2 fire team leaders and their fire teams on what to do and to achieve the current objective given. Under the command of the squad leaders is of course the rest of the squad, but his nearest leaders are the 2 fire team leaders. It can also be 3, I believe that's in the USMC version. But the common setup is this setup that is mentioned up here, 2 fire team leaders and a squad lead. In each fire team, under the fire team lead's command, we have a grenadier, an automatic rifleman, and a rifleman. The team leader issues the orders given by the squad leader to his fire team and moves them into position and achieves the objective he's been given. And with these means, he of course has the 3 other guys besides himself to do this, and the other fire teams to support him. The equipment bared by the different people are different. Of course, that is given by the descriptions of their functions. The grenadier is, of course, as his title says, a grenadier. He has a underslung grenade launcher on his weapon. This means the M203, which is able to fire AT rounds, smoke rounds, flare rounds, and illume rounds. This can be used for a variety of settings, and the functions of it will come into at a different time. The automatic rifleman carries the M249 squad automatic weapon, or SAW for short. He is the fire team's primary use of fire. He can lay an area-based fire and suppress an enemy target very effectively with this weapon. The rifleman is inside the fire team the lowest member of a fire team. He is only issued either a standard M16 or a standard M4 with no other weapon options on it. So this, if you're a very new player and you're in the missions on the primary server, I would recommend taking a rifleman position to get yourself accustomed to the basic operations of the fire team and of course the game and the functions. This is a good way to start out. You won't be treated like the very bottom of everything, but the function carries out that you do have the button function for it. Okay. Yes, are there any questions of the fire team and squad build-ups? Nope, that sounds good. Okay, everybody on their feet, and then we're going to be moving over to the big concrete slab to our north. Everybody get on top of that. Oh, yeah.
There's one more slide.
Oh, that's afterwards.
Okay, why is it? Alright, that's fine. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, move over to the concrete slabs and I'll brief you there.
Basically, you're a bottom feeder, but you get treated like one. That's funny.
What the hell? How do you use your weapon?
Oh, wow, I didn't have to jump over.
Are we all here? There's still someone over there? Can't see
one guy.
Okay. Okay, while you're standing here, you can just take a look over the different squares that's been made here, and then we'll do some questions when the last guy comes.
Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Now we're all here. Does anybody have an idea what we're looking at here?
Squad formation.
Yes.
Or fire team, rather.
Fire team formation.
Fire team.
That's exactly correct. Okay, the way we're going to be showing these fire team formations is we're going to walk from the first one over here on the left. I'm going to be showing that. And then the ones we utilize the most, we're going to go into a bit more detail of, and the ones that are not be used that much, I'm going to show you how they work, but we won't go into so much detail on it. So if everybody follows me over to the left, to the wedge. You can place yourself around this border so we can see what's going on. Oh. Stuck. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna sit down. Can everybody see the fire team wedge border here with the marking on it?
Yep.
Okay. This is the fire team wedge, illustrated by the AI standing on the north side of it. The fire team wedge is built up as a extended V on one of the sides. So you have your V, and then you have a fourth guy either on the right or the left side of it. The way to determine if the guy has to be on the left or the right side of it is either heavy right or heavy left. If, for example, you take the option on the left side of the border here, that is a heavy right, because we have more people to the right. And a question: where is this good to use if you put your most of your firepower to one side?
If you have friendlies on your weak side, that might be a good way to...
Yep, that could be an option. You have friendlies to your weak side, or you're expecting to encounter some threats either to the front or the right. Then you could have the most of your fire team's weapon operational to that side when engaging the contacts.
You just spawn a zone.
The wedge formation is also probably the most commonly used because it's quite easy to maintain and walk in, and it gives a good arc of fire. As you can see on the picture here, from every direction either front, back, left or right, there's always a minimum of 3 weapons operational towards the enemy fire. Can anybody see the idea of that? Or not see the idea of that, should I say? Okay. There's a variety of it. This is only the fire team wedge. When you want to do it as a whole squad, it's called the squad column fire team wedge. This means that the first fire team is in front in a wedge formation. In the middle there's the squad leader, and on the rear there's the last fire team who's also performing a wedge. A good idea to utilize the whole force of your squad's power would be to have a heavy right and a heavy left. Then you're sure to have most weapons on both sides and to the front and rear. So having the same heavy on each side could be used, but for example only for when expected contact, or you know there's going to be a contact on one of the sides. Talking about me, Fluffer?
No, I don't think it's talking about me.
Okay. But I am.
Wow.
As you can see as well, there's a meter divide between the people. A good spacing would be approximately 5 to 10 meters. This also allows the enemy fire not to be concentrated around the circle of people that is walking in the formation. Being bunched up will make you an easier target for the enemy. So make sure to, whatever formation you're in, to keep your spacings and listen to what the fire team leader assigns you to do. To do the build-up of the fire team wedge, in front is the team leader. He needs to gather the situation and walk forward, and also direct the fire team. This he can do best from the front. On the left of him is the AR gunner. On the right of him is the grenadier. So as you can see now, he has 2 of his most powerful weapons on each of his sides, and they are to be utilized either to the front or to the left or right, and to the front. On the rear, in adjacent to the grenadier or the rifleman, depending the automatic rifleman, depending on which side the heavy is called to, he's behind there in a approximately 45-degree angle. Don't kill yourself if the 45-degree angle is not achieved. It's not essential, just as long as you're not walking in a line or anything else that might not utilize the fire team wedge formation at its fullest. Okay, any questions on the fire team wedge?
No.
Sounds good. Let's move on to the right. Okay, next formation is the fire team file. When would be a good idea to use the fire team file?
For moving long distances.
Yeah. For the command like follow me, you have to go from one point to another, and the threat has been assessed not to be that great. You can use the fire team file or the squad file, also being called sometimes in game as a column. So it can be called both things.
I've heard it called the file.
No. Probably the most common method is column. So for here column, this is what it's like. Basically the same breakup. Fire team leader in the front, AR grenadier on the right. This is an easy way to move and to get from one place to another, as I said in the start. Also, make sure to keep your spacings here as well. It's used in all the formations. Always remember the spacings. This is quite a simple formation. Is there any questions to the fire team file or column commonly used? Or any additions?
I'd like to keep it the file, please. Changing the nomenclature.
Second?
We'd like to please refer to it as a file rather than a column.
Okay.
We're gonna change the nomenclature on that, but
okay.
This is technically a file. The reason we want to do this as opposed to a column is that higher level formations and columns don't necessarily involve files, and so we'd like to distinguish that.
Okay. So this will hereon be known as a fire team file. Okay, If no further questions, proceed over to the next one to the right. The next one is, as it says in the top, fire team line. Where can we use the line?
When you want to put a whole lot of fire forward.
Exactly. If, for example, you're moving up to an objective you want to assault, the fire team line or the squad line will be the optimal use of your weapons to the towards the objective you need to neutralize. You will have all the weapons up and is ready to go down. This is, as you can see on the plate, to the left you have the rifleman, and next to the team leader you have the AR and the grenadier. This is because the team leader wants to have his full force weapons to be close to him. He can, I'm sorry, just reading. He can utilize them in the way he wants them to be used, and guide them in the way he wants to be used. So, for example, if the AR is all the way out to the right and the fire team leader is all the way out to the left, he won't be able to communicate his fire properly. I know that people on the primary are probably experienced that they can help the ARs and the grenadiers to direct their fire, but this is the correct way of doing it. So this is a formation used to utilize the whole fire team or the whole squad's firepower. Any questions on the fire team line? Okay, moving up to the one to the north of this. Okay, the next formation is a fire team echelon left and right. I know some of you who've probably been playing it for a long time probably haven't even heard of the echelon on the primary server. It's not a very utilized formation, since the wedge is in my opinion, a better alternative to the fire team echelon. When put together, the two fire teams may utilize this to make a V. This can give a use of the whole fire team and still have its weapons remaining to the front as a full force and to the left and right. You would at all times have weapons pointing in all directions. As this is set up, the first guy would be the grenadier, the second guy would be the team leader, and the third guy AR, and of course at the end, the rifleman. Again, the heavier weapons in the fire team is close to the team leader as he can disperse them at his will. Again, as I said, this is a formation that is not being used very often on the primary, because other formations are more usable for the different situations we come into. So this is one of them. We will be raising across. I'll show you how they work, and so you have a basic understanding of it. If you hear it, you should be able to work in this way. Are there any questions to the fire team echelon left or right? And by the left or right is the same as the wedge, of course, heavy left and heavy right, which way you should be moving in a 45-degree angle. No questions?
Just like a quick question actually.
Yep.
Like I've seen this done and a lot of people just refer to it as a squad wedge when you have both fire teams on it like that, on either side of the squad leader.
Yeah, this can be used for the squad leader to determine this, but the most commonly I've seen is the squad column fire team wedge, where you're moving a column but have the fire teams remaining. This is also a good alternative to this one. Oh my god. Okay, moving over to the next one.
Schoolie.
Fighter?
Yes.
I'll just be doing this one, the next one you have the bio one. The last one isn't that extensive.
Okay.
I was the one who told me that's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, the next formation is the fire team stack column. On the picture it's illustrated that there's a road in the middle, and a good way to move along the road would be a fire team stack column. On this way we have forces on both sides of the road, and we're dispersed in a way so that we can utilize our force to either sides of the formation, and still in the front and rear have two effective weapons working. So in the front will be the team leader again, on the right side the AR, and beneath the team leader is the grenadier, and beneath the AR is the rifleman. This will make a easy transition to, for example, a fire team line. If there's a contact right or left, it will be easy for the two members of the opposing side of the road to move over to the contact and engage from a fire team line. From the front, of course, two weapons will always be effective, the team leader and the AR, so the powerful weapon is always in effect to the front, because we're always moving towards the enemy. And in the rear, we have the second most lethal weapon, the grenadier, who is able to utilize it in that way. Yes. Are there any questions to the fire team stack column? And not to say that you can't use it anywhere else but the road, but it's highly advisable to use on the road because it's a very good formation for this. Okay. If no further questions, move over to the last one.
Fix those fucking colors again.
Okay, the last formation before we're going to do a 5-minute bio break is the fire team diamond. And this is not advised to be moving in this fire team diamond. It's intended to be used as a 360 secure formation. So, for example, if your fire team lead says 360 coverage, then this would be the most effective way to do it. So we have a arc of fire to the 360 degrees, and we have a little safe zone we can make for ourselves. Again, the team lead in the front, this can be dynamic as also. If the team leader assesses that, for example, from the east there's a threat, he could be putting his AR over there. So it's a dynamic formation. But it's very good to utilize when you're doing 360 degrees. For example, if the fire team lead or the squad lead has to check maps to see where we're going, or do some radio comms that require him to stand still. Any questions on the fire team diamond? Okay, everybody proceed over to the main screen again and have a 5-minute bio break. If people want to look at the formations, they're allowed to do this. Just be over by the screen again in 5 minutes.
I think his internet's fucking up.
Okay.
He's monitoring the channel there.
Alright.
Oh, the G-card. Okay. Got it.
Right in front of you, stand up. Fluffer.
Yes.
Hey, my guy keeps like screaming like he's in pain. Can I get somebody to check him? I don't know why I'd be in pain. To your right.
Yeah, to your right.
Nice glasses.
You have light pain.
It says you're fine.
Mine, according to Sturka, has light pain. You need some morphine.
Come over here.
Still. Alright.
Also, a little black box appeared on my screen earlier and said something about somebody spawning in a foul.
Yeah, somebody was failing at typing the code to spawn in a foul.
I've never seen that little black box before.
It's a script error.
Okay. I've been getting it a lot lately. Like when I turn on Arma, it comes up in the menu.
Yeah.
Fighter, you'll have to. I don't know why my
Accept
interact's not
haircut.
working.
That's right, fighters, guys. Thanks, guys. I just got tired of screaming over here.
Area, you there?
Nobody else is here.
Okay. And carrier is there.
Alright, it says mount radio.
I'm alive, thanks to
Someone.
This is Sir Bones. I got a quick question.
Too much morphine and you won't be alive much longer. I think
Now
we
a good
actually
time for
were
question.
able to put 10 into a guy and he was still alive. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I think, wasn't it set to 10 or 15 that was the most amount?
I have no idea.
Hello.
I thought
you
10
may
was a
speak.
little excessive.
Yeah, it is.
I have a quick question, if now's a good time.
Yep.
So we talked about how the tab button can control the whisper and the shout.
Yeah.
Right now on my mouse button 5, where my thumb is where I have my TeamSpeak. So what's the difference in game? Which one should I use?
You should always use the push to talk button from your TeamSpeak to talk in direct, like we're doing right now.
Right.
But the tab button is used for increasing your volume on that certain push to talk button. So if you do you have the tab where you can put it up and down on the whisper and the shout?
Yes, I do.
Okay. On mine it has to be pressed a few times before it works. The way it works is that you hold down the tab button and use your scroll wheel to either set it to whisper, normal, or shout, or in between those functions. And
Yeah.
this determines the output volume of your direct speech right now. So
sorry to interrupt. So the direct speech and the TeamSpeak are two different things?
No, they're the same thing. The direct speech is what we're doing right now, and that's the one you're using to talk over TeamSpeak with.
Okay.
This is the, as we said, the lowest function of communicating. What we're doing right now, we can communicate with each other without using our radios. So just to give an example, I'll set mine to whisper right now, and I'll try and talk again.
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
And is this high?
Yeah, okay, I see. So the tab button is just a way of how you're able to adjust the volume.
Yes, exactly. And
I don't have to push the tab button back.
yeah, and in games for AIs, if the AI talk module has been set on, the AI will react if they hear you on the direct speech like we're speaking right now. So for example, if you're moving close into an objective, it would be a good idea to put it below normal or whisper. People around you will still be able to hear you, just in a shorter or a more mellow voice, and the AI won't react to it. But for example,
Does
if
this
you're,
also affect my? Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Come.
Does this also affect the volume that they hear through my 343 and 148?
No.
No.
Does it affect the volume I can hear him vocally while he's talking through his?
Yes, good explanation. Vocally.
So no matter how I'm talking, that tab's whatever it's set to is how people hear me.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Also why it's important to keep march discipline. So when you guys are walking or moving, you guys need to stay quiet, because that's the number one way people can find you in a TVT, or the AI finds us in a co-op.
Yeah.
Is people mouthing off and not paying attention, and yeah, so keep in mind what you say can be heard by not just people that are on your team, but the enemy team too.
Exactly. Okay, 5 minutes has gone. Is everybody here again?
They're not.
Yeah.
You can say
I have,
everyone move.
Without
I have
me.
monitor on.
Smartass.
Oh, well, everybody's over here.
Everybody stand up.
Okay, we'll continue with the course.
Alexio, are you there?
Say again?
This guy, Alexio.
Oh, Alexio. Is he the one laying down?
Yep.
Alexio.
Oh, he moved.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Seems like he's there. Okay, we'll continue on and then we'll see if Alexio joins us in a better way than just laying down. Alright, to wrap up the formations, we also have a order of march, which will be given first off in the briefing by the CO or the platoon commander for the different subunits he has. And when breaking down to a squad, the squad leader will be given a order of march for the fire teams. This could, for example, be that you have color-coded your fire teams for red and blue, and his order of march could be that blue is in front in a wedge, and red is in the rear in a wedge. This would also be considered as an order of march, because now we have established where the different fire teams are walking, and you now know your positions when walking out to the enemy. Okay. A note to when moving out. We have something called a contact report that we need to go through, so that everybody is standardized in the way of reporting out the chain of command. Does anybody know how to utilize the contact report? Okay, that's good. Then I'll go through it for you. On a basics, it can be broken down into the 3 Ds: the direction, the distance, and the description. So for example, if I have an enemy squad to the north about 200 meters away, my contact report would be north 200 meters, enemy squad. This way all the people around you can recognize the threat and move in accordance, and the fire team lead can move his fire teams in accordance of the contact report. So when this is done quick, precise and clear, we could easily engage the enemy or set up a position that can overwatch this enemy or positions we found. So remember to give this up. Don't use 2 minutes just looking at it and thinking to yourself that, oh, this will be okay, someone will see it after me. Make sure to give it to the nearest chain of command. That will be the fire team lead, so he can report it up to squad lead and further up to command, who might want to change his plan, or if it's in his plan, to neutralize the target or the contact that has been found. So just to sum it up, 3 Ds: direction, distance, and description. These are the 3 things we need for a contact report. And why do we say it in this order?
It seems to be the order that a person is naturally going to care. You don't need to know what you're looking for if you don't know where to look for it.
Exactly. If you're the only person in the fire team or the squad who has an eye on the contacts, and you just report enemy squad, bang, you're dead. Then the rest of the squad has to figure out where that contact was. If you can start off by saying north, and then you die, they have a general idea of where that enemy has been sighted. So you would like to give out the direction first as the cardinal direction, like north, south, east, west, or northeast. From there on, we can go down into details. Distance. This will be an estimated distance when you're walking. This could be 100, 200, 300, and so on. This could also be broken down into short, medium, or long range. So short, would anybody have a guess on how that could be?
About 100 meters?
Within 100?
Yeah, the one I've been told is up to 200 meters. That would be a short distance for a squad to report a contact. And a medium range would be 200 to 600, and a long range would be 600 and plus. This is just a general idea, and the distances measured by one person might be different to another, because types of measuring distances with eyes could be different. so it could be quite inaccurate. So, but this is a good way to just give a general idea of where the enemy is, according to the direction you've told him. And then, of course, the description. If you have an enemy squad, then put enemy squad. If you have a BTR, it's enemy armor BTR, and so on. So make sure these reports are as clear as possible. Any questions on the contact report? Good. Moving on. As you can see up on the screen here, we have a something called bounding. Does anybody know what bounding is?
Yep.
Cover.
Dodge by cover.
Exactly. Cover by cover. So we don't move into unseen terrain where the enemy might be, and without having cover. This is always a base of movement, is that you have cover somewhere. So for example, if you come into a bounding situation where the squad leader says he wants his fire teams to bound forward, it will be done in either the first one, successive bounds, or the bottom one, alternating bounds. Successive bounds means that the fire teams don't bound up to each other. They bound to different locations and have pretty much base of fires from different locations while they move up. The alternating bounds is where you move up to the fire team that has moved up, and then you continue moving like that on a straight line, not in a straight line, but the line you want to move out in. So by moving up to each other and successive bounding, or sorry, alternating bounding. So the team moving up is taking over the position of the team that's already there. What is a good distance for bounding when we're talking fire team bounds?
Less than 100 meters.
Yeah, that's an absolute max. I would say 100 meters. Staying in the open or somewhere on the run for a long period of time will make you easier targets for enemies at different locations. So you would want to shorten down your bounds and make sure that the fire teams can cover the area you're going into. And I know there might be some blind spots for the teams, but that is something you'll have to work your way out of when in game. Okay. Afterwards, when we're done here, I'm going to stay here. I am not sure if any of the other instructors will be here, but probably. And for them of you who want to, I will be doing the fire team bounds, also for preparation for the fire team ops course, so you know what exactly what we're talking about when doing this. So this is just an option. Yes, Static, you can if you want to. Okay. Moving on from here. Just gonna put the intro on again so people don't look. Okay. The next function is the ACE medical. We're going to go a bit more into detail about how to use this. Not so much about what bandages goes to what and when to do what, but more of the handle and care of the casualties in the field. So, for example, we're in a fire team line and one of the guys gets shot. What will be the first course of action for the rest of the guys in the fire team?
Finish the fight.
For security.
The first is to establish fire superiority. We want to make a buffer for the wounded. This could also be done by pushing on. For example, fire team bounding on about 100 meters and establishing a safe zone for the wounded. This is only an option. But first off should not be to attend to the casualties while in contact. The first should be to ensuring your safety so that others don't become casualties. So remember this. One guy down is two guys' problems, and this is taken from real life, but it could be transferred to Arma. And two guys' problems is a fire team problem. So make sure that the effects of the wounded won't increase by you doing stupid things like moving out to enemy fire to retrieve the casualties. And also make sure that, for example, the whole fire team doesn't cluster up on the wounded. It's not needed for 3 guys to attend to the wounded. This could be decided if the fire team leader is the one who doesn't get shot, he could assign another guy to attend to him. So 3 guys don't stand on top of him and looking down, and 1 guy is treating him. That will make a whole fire team combat ineffective. It will be now because half of it is gone, but it still has the means to fire its own weapons. When the zone has been established to treat the casualty, do it accordingly as the functions tell you to. This will be the Windows tab that you can use to examine the persons and see what is needed to bring him up to speed again. For example, bandages, epinephrine, or a med kit. There is a very good subject inside the forums on the Arma 2 lessons plans, I think, or the training guides where one has made, so you can see what the different things are used to, like the small bandages and large bandages and all these things. This is a very good subject you can go in and read on if you're very much in doubt on how to utilize the medical function. If you're in a mission, as well as where it's required to casevac, that will be a casualty evacuation. The personnel that has been wounded. This could be by foot, by vehicle, or by helicopter. Make sure that the appropriate measures have been taken, like for example you've been given a landing zone for the helicopter. Make sure the person is there, ready for transport when the helicopter comes, and he's stabilized enough so he can be moved out. There's also the functions of drag a body and a carry a body, where drag is just where he's on the floor and you drag him, and carry him is where you take him on your shoulders and then you walk with him. This can also be used to move him from place to place, even into a safe zone from the fire team where they're engaging right now. Okay. Any questions on the procedures of a casualty at this moment?
I'd just like to make one point.
Yep.
I think something Kirby said is pretty critical here, is that the number one reason why attacks get bogged down on the server is because people stop to treat casualties. And as heartless as it sounds, when you're in the attack especially, the best thing you can do for anyone else who got hit was to carry that attack on through and kill the enemy. Because as soon as you slow down your momentum, you're just inviting more casualties. So, if you get hit, you're on your own. That's the cold, hard truth of the equation. Especially if you're in any sort of offensive operation. You need to keep moving, you need to keep fighting, you need to win the firefight before you take care of your buddy. So, if it's a well-organized platoon, there'll be a whole bunch of people, well, you'll have the platoon staff behind you, and their job is to deal with the casualties, not yours.
Exactly.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's a point that needs to be hammered in, because it's one of the most common mistakes people make.
Yep, question?
It's not really a question, more like a statement.
Yep.
In the British military, usually the platoon sergeant deals with the casualty, so the fire team leaders in the squad does not have to. It's a good rule of thumb. Get somebody else to help you.
Yep, I think that's pretty much standardized.
Every doctrine, every Western doctrine is the exact same. It's always a platoon sergeant. They're responsible for casualty care and evacuation. So, but one critical point is that, people don't like leaving casualties, but you have to move on, you have to leave them, because so often, someone gets hit and everyone starts running over to them. Well, you're running right where someone just got shot. Odds are the person who shot them is still looking at that place. It's a dangerous area.
Yeah, and as soon as a casualty becomes a casualty, he becomes a logistical problem, because he can't move himself from A to B, so somebody else has to do it for him. And the platoon sergeant in every Western doctrine is a logistical part of the platoon, so he automatically transfers to the logistical part of that. So yes, the platoon sergeant and his medical attachments that he might have with him is now their problem. But yes, as Falcon as well explained, that everybody has this maybe guilt inside of them that they feel they have to do something for the person laying down. It's not the case, it shouldn't be the case here, and it certainly isn't the case in real life, because a squad is a offensive movement from the platoon. It's an offensive unit, and we can't be stuck at one point just to take care of a casualty. And as Falcon also said, it might sound hard to say, but this is the dire truth of it. So yeah, if is there any more questions to the Ace Medical? Okay, everybody just get on your feet, and then you can go and put your radios in the crates, so we're not all looking like
4 on me.
And then come back here again.
Nice job so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff I want to change about the course in general, but you're doing fine for what we've done in the past, so don't worry about it.
I'm just using, yeah, I saw it on Sumork City the other day, and I'm using the same.
You want me to take
Yeah,
this
no,
right here and put it in the
that's
crate?
fine.
Yeah.
Shoot us.
Sure, why not?
Would this be
It could be
point
fun.
to say
Yeah,
that
I
their
think it'd be
attacks
fun if you're doing the one.
achieved and
You're the one doing
announced
the shooting.
FTX?
Yeah, so are you guys running the fire team course right after this?
Yeah, we're gonna do it for those who are interested in doing it.
Is that a separate training mission?
4 on me.
An extension of informal training.
That's just an extension of this right here. Is everybody here?
Believe so.
Think so.
Okay. Yep. This concludes the official part of the familiarization course. Your tags will be given, so please stay in the TS channel for a bit while if you're about to leave. And thank you for the good common order of the.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls. This has stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that is abundant has left us in want. Our knowledge is made cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. This is too much, feel truthful. All machinery needs humanity. All cleverness needs kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent. All will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Let us fight to free the world.